It recognizes our belief in God, our country, not just individuals, our country, our founding fathers codified this in the documents that founded this country. Our reliance, our belief in God, and our reliance upon God. Of that, there's just no debate on that. You may like it, may not like it. Declaration of Independence, we find these truths to be self-evident, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, of which are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It goes on in the Constitution to say we are putting together this Constitution in a preamble to secure the blessings, not only for ourselves, for posterity. And that Constitution followed with a Bill of Rights that enumerated those godly rights given to man, including the very first one, which was a right to believe in God and to express that belief anytime, anywhere, including the public square.
33 million. It's proven to the money investors that people want something to feed their souls, not just their worst desires.
Absolutely.
And
yes, indeed.
This kind of sums up my entire dialogue career on the heat of the night. You ready for this? Okay, this is it. My 7 years on the heat of the night. My dialogue all summarized into this. Get right on it, Chief.
Skinner, but Bubba's my name. I like my iced tea sweet and my women the same. I'm your brown-haired badge here in little old Sparta, but nobody's bigger or tougher or smarter. If you're looking to fight, best not be with me. Gonna be held tight, well now we'll just see. You never know in the heat of the night on TNT. Heat of the night on TNT. Now I don't put on any airs, but then I ain't no slob. Just a redneck boy with a blue-collar job. The ladies I date, they gonna have 'em some fun, 'cause I'm a big hunk of crime fighting son of a gun. So if you're looking to fight, come on up in the ring. You wanna be held tight, just about anything can happen in the heat of the night on TNT. Hubba, 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 heat of the night on TNT. Yeah.
From NFL quarterback to Hollywood to the mayor's office, and now behind the mic at KXEX, this is the Alan Autry Show. No retreat.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody's grabbing out there. Nobody.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So, 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable. Free at last! Free at last!
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call now. 559-899-1550.
And welcome to Alan Autry No Retreat. This is old Alan Autry, so honored and humbled as always. And you ask me, why do I always say that? Because I'm always honored and humbled. Every single day when you decide to either tune in on radio or log in on social media. Just so happy to have you here on Thunderous Thursday. And I tell you, every once in a while, something unusual happens. Doesn't happen a long time. Halley's Comet goes by how many years? And every once in a while, Guillermo Moreno gets to my show on time.
This is true.
This man was here 3 minutes early. Now, you know why I don't get on Guillermo? You juggle more things than the clown at the circus, man.
This is also true.
This man has so much going on.
People don't know that.
They do not know that. I know that. I've seen you in action. I don't know how you're going to be able to keep it going. I don't know. Someday your loved wife's going to set you down and say, Guillermo, or your mama, and say, Mijo, you need to slow down.
With that thick of an accent, too.
You need to slow down. No, she's well done that. But just so happy to have us here, folks. And got the old, Jeremy, way to go with that graphic on social media. You got that thing positioned just right where it covers up my belly. I was belly hanging yesterday, big time.
It's the camera.
I can't stand it. I'm vain.
You
probably think this show's about me. I'm so vain.
There's a filter that'll make you skinnier, right?
What's that?
There's a filter on that program that'll make us skinnier.
A filter?
Yeah.
No, it's one that'll make you can take away wrinkles, but it can't reduce the weight.
Yeah.
Really?
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, of course you are.
You seriously wanted to use it.
Well, you're going into my arena, movie making, video, and stuff like that. Believe me, if I would have heard about that, I would have demanded it on Tulsa King episode I just did with Stallone, and so would he have. Thinking that filter takes about 10 pounds. Make sure we do that close-up on my chin, you know what I mean? I just have that one chin, now I got 4, Yo, Adrian, look at it, I got 4 chins. Hey, boy, gosh, so much happening in the news that is so...
Where do you start?
Help me, you're the smart one, you got the big degree. Give me an adjective, impactful, stuff, midterms, things overseas, wars going on. Coming back, we got another COVID epidemic, they're saying, coming on. We got crisis at the border. We got crime out of control. Say something to cheer me up. Tell me.
The best
ratings for Heat of the Night are up. In the reruns. Right?
That's awesome.
I don't know. I just think so in my head. I just need something to
The
cheer
best
me up.
is yet to come.
Okay, I hope so.
The best is yet
I
to
hope
come.
this isn't as good as it gets. Goodness gracious. But as readers of the Bible, we know it gets a little worse.
Yeah.
A lot worse before it gets better.
Hey,
listen. Elon likes his money. Elon Musk went through with it.
Yeah.
You see him walking into headquarters with his boxes. I mean, that's so Elon Musk. I love it. The deal's done. The man, after going to buy Twitter, not going to buy Twitter, and I thought he was out.
I did too. I thought it was a show. I thought it was all a show. Yeah, just
a lot of reasons
front.
for him not to.
Yeah.
I mean, the stock price, he's paying way over the price stock. But for Elon, he's still the richest guy in the world, right?
But he's been able to
Although
take.
people think Putin is.
Yeah, probably.
But go ahead.
He's been able to take something that is, you can't make it better. You can't make it better. And his career, he
goes, yes, I can.
Yeah, exactly. So we're all thinking Twitter's worthless now. Can you really make it better? Eventually he's probably going to make it to where our thoughts in our mind just automatically go to Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
which could be really bad.
I'm slapping I'm slapping myself because I think, how did I ever think that ultimately he would not go through with this? Because things got a little hard. I don't know if you've seen this documentary on him on Netflix.
No, never.
Oh, you got to go. I forget the name of it, but it's about the start of his space program, SpaceX.
Yeah.
Laura Fisher got me.
Yeah, you got the hat. You're sporting the hat.
I'm sporting the hat in honor of Elon. But he's going to take over the shuttle program for the United States government. That was his goal. He was going to make a reusable rocket that you could send into space because it was becoming cost prohibitive. At NASA, they said, because they couldn't come up with a reusable rocket, they just had to one shot, then they start basically all over again. Although they reuse the shuttle, the recyclable aspects of that whole science was just not there. And he says, well, give me a crack at it. So he went at it, and I think the first 3
launches, the first 2 for sure, I know, they just blew up. They're all sitting there waiting for the launch. It goes up, it gets about 5,000 feet, and boom, goes Challenger on him.
Yeah.
Then
Some Kim Jong-un action there.
Yes, and he told him, it has it right there. It's documented where he tells his whole team, he says, look, I got X billion dollars. I forget how much, $400 billion or something like that. No, it's not quite that much, but it's a big sum. It's over $100 billion. He goes, I got this to spend on it, okay? We got to get it done within this budget. So it blows up. So he's down, say it was 120 billion, he's down to 80 billion. So he comes out the second one, blows up. So he's down another 40 billion. But he said, okay, get back in there, learn from it, figure out why it blew up. Let's build another one. Let's get. So the third one was not successful. I don't know if it blew up, but it was, by every measure, unsuccessful. I think it did blow up on reentry. And he's out of money. So everybody on the team, they're packing it up and going home. That's it. A lot of money. I mean, he wasn't the richest man in the world back then. Very rich, but not like he is now. And he comes strolling in. He calls his top team captains into his office. He says, okay, what do we learn? And they told him, blah, blah, blah. He says, okay, get out there. I'm going to go on the line again for X billion dollars. Let's go make this happen. And it was either the third or the fourth, I believe it was the fourth. They're all sitting there, and they make it. It goes, it lands, it goes, does its orbit, and it comes, and it lands back on land.
I remember that, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Which was the big trick. Can you make it land properly? And it just is so interesting. So I'm thinking, all of these trial, and it doesn't work out, and he comes back and comes back and comes back. He's not going to go through Twitter because he ran into a few nerds that says, or political roadblocks. They called him a few names, or you're Hitler or whatever, and he's going to go, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I'm done. No, I look back, I go, obviously he was going to buy this, go through with it. That's just his nature. And anyway,
do you think he makes it? You think he makes it more free and open and fair? I mean, what happens to Twitter?
Don't you? Oh gosh, yes. I think. Well, one thing you start with, whether it's Joe Biden, who I don't agree with anything, basically he's doing, even including the way he eats ice cream. When you get old men like we are, Joe and I, you got to make a napkin with you. You've got to be aware of the ice cream dribbling down your chin.
You won't let him live that down.
Well, no, you got to not do that. It's a bad optic. It gives old people a bad name, like me. It's like old men like me should be banned from eating oatmeal. And it just, you can't do it. You can try and think about it, but you're going to have oatmeal when you're talking on your lips, and it grosses people out. When you're 20 years old and you got oatmeal and your wife's, across from you, it's cute. When you're old and oatmeal's on your lips, your wife looks at you and goes, oh, God, it grosses you out. It's just facing the fact of aging. Things that used to be cute. I mean, when you were young, you got a little upset stomach and you let one go, oh, cute. You did a little poot. And you do it as an old man. Oh, God, you got a gross old man. Don't be around him. I mean, they got Biden on the farting thing. When he felt that coming, he should have got away from the microphones. These are things I think about a lot. That's what I hold against Joe Biden. The border of the Ukraine, okay, I can live with that.
Don't eat and hold it in.
Don't eat ice cream and bring us all old people into that and bring that stereotype crashing home on all of us.
See, if Elon could get our exact thoughts from our brain, just go straight to Twitter without even having to type it. I think
he might do that.
Well, you might have a.
He's going to have censorship if it gets out there into Danger Wackoville. Where you're out there and you're Timothy McVeigh talking about your next strike, or you're Black Lives Matter violent participants, and you're talking he's going to have some common sense things in place. He's already said that. But my point I was making with Biden is I don't care, what Joe Biden, I don't agree with much of what he said since he's become president. Donald Trump, a lot of what he did, I agreed with. How he said much of the stuff, I don't agree with. I didn't agree with a lot of what Bill Clinton said, Jimmy Carter, agreed with something Ronald Reagan said. But here's my point. Whether I agree with them or not, you do not have the right, if you're a communication platform, especially one who says we're going to value freedom of speech, you do not, under any circumstances, ban the president of the United States like Twitter did.
Well, I agree, but it's still.
And so he's not that. Well, it's going to start with that. You say, what the difference? The difference is going to be, I promise you, Elon Musk may think a policy of our next president or this president or what have you may have the worst policy in the world, but he's the freaking president. And he's going to run his tweets on Twitter, as he should.
I totally agree, but you got to remember, at the end of the day, Twitter's a company. It's a business, and it's not a governmental entity. And I don't think, and I've gone back and forth on this, is it the public square? Is it really truly the public square, or is it a private company, or is it both? And I'm on the side of it's a private company. So if he wants to ban, Ford Motor Company or all these other car dealerships from posting, because obviously he owns Tesla, that's his prerogative. They are a business.
No, I think it's a hybrid. I think communication, if you build yourself as a open platform for open thought of all ideologies, I mean, again, within reason, you're a cannibal and you're posting online, hey, want to get eaten today? Come, look me up, hit me up. I think where they've gotten in trouble is being treated as if they're not a regular company, in the sense that you can't sue them, against free speech. Yeah. Like Trump could not sue them. Kanye West, who made some terrible statements, we may talk about that today. But it's removed, and you can't sue them. You can't hold them to the same standards as you can a television network, because a television network comes out and said, "Hey, we are for profit. We're for business. We have, you can go in and sue a network like Sandman did at CNN, the young man who was just vilified and all this stuff, because they claim to be something they're not. They claim to be hard news, reporting the facts." Okay, that's what they are. They're hard, and you knowingly report false information. What this fake news is all about, and you go after and you target someone you may not agree with, the head of CNN, like the head of CNN did, and go out and make up false information, report falsely. You can sue them, but if you stay neutral, this is an information platform of free speech, you don't go in and target somebody and cancel them like they did Trump. Okay, then you're free of those laws. You can't sue them. I forget what it's called. There's a number. There's a big movement to repeal that, because the social media platforms, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, clearly did take a political agenda, a political ideology, and push that ideology through their so-called non-biased platforms.
But we do it here.
Yeah, but you don't bill yourself as you're going. You can say anything you want to say. You say, hey, you can't say certain words. I can't come in and start cussing a blue streak, even if I had a tendency to do so, which I don't.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
It's difficult. It is, unfortunately, right now, the way we treat social media is an unofficial hybrid. So the government either needs to step it up and say, okay, fine, we're going to regulate this like we do radio stations and television stations, and it'll fall under the FCC, or they just get the heck out and they don't regulate it, which honestly, I'm kind of for. It's your business. Twitter's a private business. You do whatever you want. You be you. Because I look at it this way, because I bring it down to the molecular level. Let's say you and I owned a shopping center, right? We own the Autry Moreno shopping center on the corner of Main
Street.
Street.
You gave me first building.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, Autry Moreno, Autry Moreno on Main Street and the corner of First, and it became into the protest corner, right, on our private property. It's the protest corner. Every Friday night, someone goes out there, a cause goes out there and protests. Now, you and I don't. We're like, oh, whatever, we don't care. But because that corner is used year after year after year, let's say, does that mean that the government now owns that corner and says, hey, look, Alan Autry and Guillermo Moreno, this is a free speech corner now. Whether you like it or not, we're going to come in and we're going to regulate it. And the answer to that would be no. It's our private business. It's our street corner. It's our development. So that's the way I look at it. I think
you could eminent domain it. That's what these city councils would do.
Then the government should do it. The government should come in and say, look, you guys are.
Eminent domain that corner?
Yeah. This is not something I would.
You got a free speech area at City Hall, not outside. You can go out to City Hall. The government pays for it. We pay for it for a tax
Eaton
dollars.
Plaza?
No, not Eaton Plaza, but outside in front, right out in front of City Hall. It's called a free speech area. You can go out there,
but it's on government property.
But it's free speech. The government has said you can come out there and have your rally. Although the city council and the mayor have gotten into their little editing powers and saying, well, no, it's not.
But it's a government entity.
We can tell you what to. Yeah.
So it falls under different parameters. I mean,
right.
if we were to open up our lounge here and say, hey, this is the free speech lounge. Come on out, yell whatever you want. We have that right. But if we're like, hey, this is a free speech lounge, I don't want any liberals in here and no independents in here. This is only the free speech lounge for Republicans.
Okay.
We got that.
Well, you've completely confused me now. I feel like John Fetterman. No, not about the stroke thing.
Good night.
No, I'm not going to say that. Bless his heart.
I feel bad.
I think you're going to get some votes because of that. I think he's going to get a lot of sympathy votes. But listen, the Twitter deal, what it purported to be, right from the old get-go, as they say now, Sal. You can come on this here platform, and you can say what you want to. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember what the founding fathers said? The right to free speech without fearfully putting in front of a firing squad to be thrown in jail. Remember all that? And it's canceled stuff. Don't worry about it. You can come on Twitter. You can say your piece. You can take your slings and arrows or your praises that will come back to you on Twitter. But you have free speech protected on this platform. We're not CNN. We're not Fox. We're not a radio station. We're an open platform for free speech. Now, where does that fit in? I think you're right in that posed a issue with the government as goes, okay, how do we regulate this or not regulate? What powers do we have or not have? And they let it alone for a while till it grew so big. And they saw people like The Rock with 20 million followers. They saw LeBron James. They saw politicians. Barack Obama get millions of followers. So in a matter of a few seconds, I can make a statement, press send, and I've got that out to 20 million people. Man, that is one powerful political tool.
Yeah.
We got to have some of that from both parties. But the Democratic, the left, the woke, give them credit. They saw the potential of that very early on. They got inside the boardrooms of Facebook. They got into Zuckerberg's ear. He was already not leaning that way, which I think he was. He used Facebook to change. No. Under the guise of the greater good, we're going to ban this President Trump. And I forget what it was under the premise, but under the premise of you got free speech, but you can't yell fire in the movie theater. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They used that analogy. You got free speech, but you can't say something that's going to stir up people and get people hurt and killed. And Mr. President, when you said go down to peacefully, passionately make your voices heard at the Capitol, you're going to get people killed, so we're going to take you off. They made that determination. From a political standpoint, we all know that. We all know that did not cause people to go down and hurt other people. The people that came there to do their deeds and break into the Capitol planned on doing that weeks, if not months, whether Trump said do it or not do it. And by the way, I'd like to put this on the table. Not to defend Trump, but I'd just like to know this. The whole thing that left hangs on him, Guillermo, about reaching over and the Secret Service agent and grabbing the steering wheel because he wanted to go to the Capitol. And the Secret Service said, no, you can't go, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. I do, yeah.
Okay. And this is how crazy he was. This is what the left said. Crazy. Did anybody ever stop and think? And I think it's probably going to be in his book because I really do think this is what probably happened. He went there. You're assuming on the left and Trump haters and Liz Cheney that he wanted to go there and be Che Guevara and lead the charge into the Capitol. And I think just the opposite. I think he wanted to go there, get out of that SUV, walk up on the steps and say, stop this.
You think?
Yes.
I don't know.
No,
Nobody.
He's not that kind of guy that would come in and say, "You're coming in here breaking the law, tearing it up. You're threatening Mike Pence. You're doing with this crazy talk." That he's not that dumb. That's not his heart. Now, granted, he was probably venting when he first saw this stuff. Like the BLM supporters see the stuff out in the streets. He thought he got his robbed in the election. I'm not making apologies for him. When it got out of hand, he was too slow to put the statement out. I will give him that. But you what a chance. The reason is they didn't want him to go there because they were afraid he was going to do that very thing. Try to stop it. And he would have stopped it.
I'm not sure if he would have.
Well, we'll find out.
You know me.
We don't know. He's never talked about it.
I'm a big Trump supporter. Everybody knows that. I don't think he actually
Why do you think he wanted to go there?
I don't even believe that entire account.
He didn't deny that he wanted to go to the Capitol.
Oh, he did it. He said, I wanted to go to the Capitol.
That's what I think I heard, but I'm 70.
I
hear voices all the time.
Can you eat an ice cream?
Absolutely.
Well, the question is, the CIA refuted that. They said he never grabbed the will. He's the president of the
United States. No, they said he reached over. Reached over going, boom. I can see him doing that. Come on, man. Go to the Capitol, but not reaching over
and grabbing him
and trying.
No. And this was in the Beast?
No. What?
This was inside the Beast. I mean, he sits in the back.
The Beast. Let's clarify that. You're going to get this, the people going, see, even Guillermo Moreno said he's Satan. He was in the belly of the Beast. The Beast was the nickname for the vehicle.
In the vehicle, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Beast, have you ever been in the Beast?
No.
No?
I have no desire to be in the Beast. I was in a limo for almost an hour with George W. Bush, just him and I.
And it wasn't the Beast?
No, it was his limo. And it came out here.
Oh.
You want to know what was said?
What was said?
I'm not going to tell you until I write the book.
An hour?
You got to pay for that.
Well, I will.
I'll give you a signed copy.
You know, I will.
I've already said on this show so many times. You say you listen to the show. I've talked a lot about that conversation with George W. Bush. And you don't even know I was in the
I don't even remember. Yeah,
because you're too busy.
I thought it was the Beast.
You're too busy to listen to me for 12
I don't know. When people say Bush, I'm like, I start turning off. When you say Trump, and I'm like, what?
You just have
say.
Well, that's the wrong strategy.
It is. It really is.
You got to bring in the whole day. You have to bring in the whole camp. You know, Bush and Cheney, they're like, Hey, we're going to take a quick break.
Oh, okay, can I say
one last? Hey, this is my show, but it's your station. Wonder who wins. Wonder who wins that one.
No.
Who wins that argument?
This is an open.
Right, Jeremy's a tiebreaker.
This is an open
he
dialogue.
Knows who signs his check. Love you, Alan, but go ahead.
This is an open dialogue here. Okay. All right, but only I can speak right now. Okay. So this is.
I know there was a dictator buried somewhere deep in that freedom-loving individual.
So Twitter and Elon Musk driving Twitter now has 2024 implications.
Absolutely.
It really does. Like many things, and you and I discussed off air, everything is at Trump's disposal now, and it's whether he's actually going to do the right thing or do the wrong thing. He says he's not going back on Twitter. If he goes back on Twitter, he has that avenue, and you're going to see 2016 all over again. He'll be able to speak to the American people. He gets on Twitter and he does the right thing. I think his 2024 probability and chances go up significantly.
I agree. If he uses a little discretion and is just smarter, you got to look at the end result and work back. The end result, the goal, is to win the presidency, 2024. What do you have to do that? Be straightforward, you bet. Be tough when you have to be. Absolutely. You have to make good strategic decisions in terms of policy. You bet. You've done all that. What do you think you need to work on? You just enhance what you've been doing right, but you got to be able to look at what you're not doing right, that you're not doing so good. And one of those big ones is communication and broadening your tent and bringing into people that are on the fence going, I'd like to vote for this guy, but he's got to conduct himself just a little differently. Be able to say, I regret that decision or something close to that. Be the one that reaches out and say, I'm going to bring bipartisanship back. Now, he said he was for that, but when the Democrats moved away and started calling his name, he took the bait. And I would have said, when I was at City Hall, I had people that did not want me. They were staunchly in Dan Whitehurst's corner. He was the establishment. There was a lot of money riding on Dan Whitehurst becoming mayor in this town that had made money off of policies, those type of policies. And people with deep pockets, very powerful, did not want me to become mayor, but we did. Mayor. And I realized, though, from Fresno to move forward, I didn't have the luxury that the mayor of Los Angeles had. You're trying to rebuild a city and get the community behind you. You got to be funded to get those projects. So you want to get a project done, move forward. L.A. mayor, they can go to billionaire number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's
6,
such a
and
good
7.
point. Yeah.
The billionaire didn't want to participate. And go to billionaire number 2. Boom, boom, boom. Here, it were like Fresno State's football team. Our first string on a good year can play with anybody in the nation because they got great players. The difference is the number 2 guy is a 5-star athlete as well, a 5-star lineman. Whereas ours are maybe a 2 or a 3. Our first string goes down. We don't have the depth of SC, UCLA, Alabama. Okay? Same with the city. If I can't get people that didn't like me, who voted against me, very powerful, to come on board, talk. Let's talk this out. You had a problem with me being mayor. You think I'm not qualified? You think that I'm going to take us a bad direction? I get it. Let's talk it out and see what we have in common. And I'll try to learn from you. And you maybe you can get something from me, but let's talk. Because a lot of them said, I ain't talking to that guy. I ain't got Bubba as my mayor. He's walking around, Bubba. That's embarrassing, this and that. But I made a
They
statement.
said that?
I made a statement. Well, behind the scenes.
Oh, okay.
Behind the scenes, you hear it coming back to you. Small town. It's a big town, but it's a small town.
Very much so.
Exactly, Fresno. But I made a public pronouncement over and over and over again. And then I started calling out some names. I said, look, and councilmen who were in the pockets of these big wigs. I said, look, we made a promise when we took an oath to do what was best for the people of Fresno, to make decisions that were best on public safety, growth, whatever. Not an oath to our political persuasions. Okay? My door is always open, anytime, anywhere. Pat Hill. We'll play anybody, anytime, anywhere.
You didn't hit anybody, did you?
Didn't hit anybody. I wanted to. And I kept on with that. The door's open. The door's open. And after almost 2.5 years, I got a call from one of my biggest critics who was very powerful, still is in this town. He says, okay, I want to meet with you about this general plan. And I knew he was going to come in and just give me, unload on me. But I knew I had him where I wanted him. Came in, and he did. He unloaded for about a good 15, 20 minutes. That doesn't sound like a lot, but have you ever been unloaded on for 15 and 20 minutes? It feels like about 3 hours. So I'm sitting there, and we get it all out. I said, okay, I'm taking notes. Got my snap there. I said, what do we agree on? And then I said, do you think everyone should have equal access to opportunity, education, and quality of life in this city, regardless of whether they live north of Shaw or south of Shaw? Yeah. Should everybody should have equal access to a job, quality job, and whether north or south? Yeah. I said, well, so do I. How can we take what you just said, the policies that you put forward, and make that happen? You show me how you can make that happen. I'm all there. All I'm saying is we can no longer be a tale of two cities where you have all this affluence north of Shaw and have literally nothing south of Shaw because our city, as the Bible said, a house divided can't stand. That guy became one of my biggest allies. And we did a lot of good stuff the next 5 years together because we talked. We got together and we talked. And I would say to the electorate, that's why I'm independent. I like to start an organization, the American Independent Party, the American Alliance for Freedom, whatever. But it's independent. You can come in and be pro-life, pro-choice, whatever. You could be for the war in Iraq, against the war in Iraq. But we share one principle, that you do not have the option, elected officials, to take your toys and go home and not talk to the other side. That is unprecedented in American history. If our founding fathers, who hated each other, could stay in one room for days and hammer out a constitution, the most precious document to protect individual rights the history of the world has ever seen.
Yeah.
And they had Adams and Jefferson hated each other. And who walked in the room? George Washington. 6'4". Came in and said, enough's enough. We got to hammer out a constitution. Because you know what? Folks we defeated, that I led across the Delaware, I had all my men dying of frostbite, and I almost died. I didn't die for this. bunch of you guys arguing each other at each other's throats. Now let's hammer this thing out because the country's life depends on it. Well, we're in a situation where I think the country's life depends on it. We're at the tipping point of so many issues. Are we going to be any semblance of that country that our founding fathers put together, that rose this little country from being slaves to the United Kingdom to the most powerful force for good that the world has ever seen? And somehow we have people going, it's racist, it's no good, we need to tear all of that good down and build us up a Marxist state. So that's why I'm saying you've got to, when you stop talking, when you stop interacting, that's when the path of destruction, you're on the path of destruction, and you just keep going faster and faster and faster. And the 9,000-foot drop to destruction gets closer and closer. And that's where we are right now. Anyway, let's take a quick break. When we come back, I want your thoughts. I know this is going to you. Could it be that Vladimir Putin could be the moderate in Russia? There is growing evidence, as amazing and as crazy as that may sound, there may be people who want war as more ruthless, more bloodthirsty, and more crazy than Vladimir Putin, and he might be holding them back. We're going to talk about that. We got a little evidence that may point to that, and I know Guillermo's going to have his opinion. This is Alan Autry, No Retreat with Go Guillermo Sarantalot. And if you want to hear his opinion, as I know you do, you stick around. We'll be right back.
I told you Congress needs to do a ropes course.
Let me tell you, I love that.
Hey, get them out in the woods.
You know,
get them take away their phones.
Yeah, you'd love this if you were around this area, because I was about a little bit younger than you. I was like when Reagan was around. Reagan would go in with Tip O'Neill, the liberal senator. I think they had the Irish thing, Reagan and O'Neill.
Yeah.
Going. But they would get together and talk things out. I mean, you're talking about Tip O'Neill, really liberal, not woke, but real liberal. And then you had Reagan, obviously conservative, really conservative. And what was that when you would watch the shows, and when they would schedule a meeting, it would just be those two and the staff. Okay. The left, the liberals were going, oh gosh, what's he going to give up? Oh gosh, what's he going to give up? And Reagan, the great communicator, oh God, what? Reagan was going, oh God, Reagan supporters, they're in there. What are they doing? Oh God, Reagan's going to come out pro-choice. He's going to come out for weakened national defense. He's going to say, Mr. Gorbachev, build that wall higher. Build a higher wall. And they would come out and do these joint press conferences. And it was beautiful because they didn't come out with like earth-shattering announcements sometimes, but they almost invariably came out with news of progress towards issues that really matter to people. Jobs, inflation, the world stage, positions that they were going to take collectively and really have a united front. Not like now. They're over there in Russia going, hey, Kevin McCarthy saying us they can't write a blank check. Yet this other Joe Biden says we're going to write it forever. They're divided.
Oh, yeah.
We'll just wait them out.
So far.
We'll just wait them out. We'll just keep bombing till they. And with Reagan and Tip O'Neill, and with all credit to Clinton and Newt Gingrich, they chose that model, not the Trump Pelosi model.
Very true.
The Trump Schumer model. And the same sort of thing happened. Oh God, no, Newt's going to give this up. And Clinton's people over there, oh gosh, he's turning Republican because he wants to make somebody work for their welfare check. Can you believe it?
20 seconds.
Horrible thing to do. They came up with
That's a good point.
That's you got to keep talking. What happens in a what's the worst things?
10 seconds.
Think about in a marriage when husband and wife stop talking.
5 seconds.
They don't argue, but they stop talking.
They go to therapy. The country needs therapy.
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now. 559-899-1550.
And welcome back to Thunderous Thursday with Guillermo Moreno. So honored to have him join us here. We don't get him every Thursday. He's a busy, busy man.
Happy to be here.
When he makes time for us, we are absolutely blessed. All right. I've got to preface this. We only have about 15 minutes left. I'm sorry I have to start this subject off with such a lengthy preface. But if I don't, I set myself up for people that are just going to misconstrue what I said, call me names, just erroneously report my position on this particular issue. And I'm talking about the war in Ukraine, and in particular Vladimir Putin's position, his purpose, his goals, and my position that in order to have a diplomatic solution, which is what we should all want, you're going to have to know those things and be truthful to thine own self, not what we think Putin is. And I do subscribe to the Forrest Gump's moms. Stupid is what stupid does, and evil is what evil does. No excuse for that old school type of invasion of Ukraine. But you're talking about a different culture, an Eastern European culture, and a history that's completely different than ours. And it's why he has overwhelming support in Russia. They say they've just been brainwashed left and right, and they don't know that he's a monster, and he just uses the media and propaganda to bring. Yes, part of that's true, but they have the internet. They've got access to CNN, Fox, everything. This show in Russia, they're not China. China can block that out. Russia doesn't. And we can scratch our heads and say what evil people there are. We can say, you know what, we're going to have to deal with them on the world stage, if for no other reason than they got 2,400 nuclear warheads and can destroy the entire world if they decide to use them. Even if that is the only reason. But Putin has been universally described as the man behind all of this invasion, the indiscriminate bombing of civilian targets, the unapologetic loss of life, and being unapologetic about that, about his motives, this military action that he's taken. And it hasn't gone really that well for the Russians there. Right, Guillermo?
Right.
I mean, you brought that up from the time the big 20-mile-long caravan there that just was I'm sure they could intimidate Kiev if they just showed this massive show of strength, and it didn't work. And the Ukrainians under Zelensky fought harder than they expected. They got some land, and it got taken back by the Ukrainians. They had trouble getting people signed up for the military. They were exposed as not being really ready for prime time when it comes for war. I think the last time they really had a big skirmish was in Afghanistan. They did some stuff in Syria, but that was mostly bombing. They had troops on the ground in Afghanistan, lost that war after about 10, 15 years, as we did. Mm-hmm. But it's universally accepted that he's the warmonger, he's the evil one, he's the one pulling all the levers. But we're starting to get information come out of there that may tell a whole different story. That there may be generals behind Putin, contrary to what the Pentagon is saying, they're trying to talk him out of doing what he's doing, to leave Ukraine and to seek peace. If we believe all of that propaganda, that every single general of any power or influence is telling him that, then okay, I don't believe that.
Me either, yeah.
Never have. Now we're starting to get these people going public. The generals is coming out of the media in Russia, which is amazing. And generals saying, look, you need to ratchet it up, Vladimir. You're too soft. You should be bombing the living daylights out of Kiev. This is how we do things in Russia. We start a war, we finish the war. Sorry if people die. We have to get the objective done, and that's to take over Ukraine. Okay? There's generals telling him, what are you doing waiting? Why? And there's some saying, why don't you use a dirty bomb? You don't have to go full-fledged frontal nuke
Mm-hmm.
You can drop a dirty bomb and blow up, vaporize a couple of ships, Ukrainian ships in the Baltic Sea, the Black Sea rather, and see what that does. You need to escalate, Vladimir. Escalate. Why aren't you escalating? And there's a fella by the name of, what is his name there? It's, what is his name? Anyway,
Call Igor.
Constantine.
Igor.
That is just racist.
Igor Kolakov.
That's racist.
Volkov.
Batikov. No, Konstantin Vorontsov, I think is his name.
Pretty close.
I said that pretty well. Yeah, he got done these Russians and Ukrainians, all these long names. How about a Bob or George?
Igor.
But this guy used to be a caterer, all right, and has risen to be a massively powerful Russian oligarch with tremendous influence on Putin, who, by the way, is founder of the Wagner Special Forces Mercenary Unit. You may not know who that is. I didn't know who that is, but guarantee Syria knows, Afghanistan knows, all of the Middle East, Africa knows who the Wagner Mercenary Army is. They're a bunch of professional killers, a bunch of them, thousands of them. He founded this group. He's been apparently on Putin to say, what are you waiting for? You see the propaganda from the West. Images come to the CNN of old people with no teeth. People that look like Alan Autry, Bubba, they're sending over there to fight. That's what the West thinks our military looks like, Vladimir. You need to unleash the full fury of the Wagner mercenaries. And you have another guy, the general, I'm going to do better on this one. Yevgeny Prigozhin. I take Prevagen from my memory. Prigozhin has not to be confused. Anyway, he is a higher up in the Russian intelligence and military organization, and just came out today on his own. He's not the spokesman like Peskov. Peskov's a national spokesman. That's why I say you're seeing other people emerge. They used to be a really tight ship.
Yeah, you only see Putin.
Putin and Peskov.
Yeah.
Okay, and occasionally the defense minister would say something if Vladimir let him. And this guy, Prevagen, has said, we are very strongly considering of knocking out American satellites. Now, I said that on the show, and I think it was Laura, who I respect, only said they can't do that. They don't have the technology to do that. Well, this guy, Prigozhin, says they absolutely do. And if that is done, to equate it with a nuclear bomb, okay. It's probably not to that level, but to knock out communication satellites can be as devastating of an action that could create havoc all over Ukraine and the United States of America. And his position is, and America was, wait a minute, you're fighting us. Well, we're fighting a proxy war there, giving them all the aid. So what do you think about that? That to me, I had an inkling that Putin, being the strong man, was not the only voice there. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I think you hit it right on the money. We're always used to just hearing Putin and seeing Putin and just watching him. It's interesting that
if Putin was gone, right? Biden said, this man's got to go. Then Russia would come to his senses and leave Ukraine. That's what we've been told.
Yeah.
Get rid of, but do you agree that's what we've been taught?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's the bad guy.
And you take him out.
Yeah.
Remember the big thing? Take him out.
Yeah.
John Hannity on there. Hey,
Lindsey Graham.
Assassinate him.
Yeah.
And what if he gets assassinated because he's not doing enough? And you get one of these guys in that says, now you think Vladimir was tough and mean? Sorry, West, we could give a rat's behind what you think of us. Get ready because we're unleashing hell upon Ukraine.
No, you hit it on the money. There's not much to add. I mean, you laid it out perfectly. I think you're right. I think he is the moderate. You and I have had this conversation before, and you've
Do
told
you
me.
really think he is?
Yeah, I mean, you look at some of these. Yeah,
I do too.
I've never been, and this will come back and haunt me. Vladimir's a bad guy. Don't get me wrong. He is a bad guy. Is he the worst guy on the world stage? No. I don't think he's the worst guy.
Do you make the difference? Who's worse, Al Capone or John Dillinger? They're both. We're not saying that his guy,
I'm not saying
Vladimir's a Boy Scout.
No, not by far. But I think he does have. I think he does realize what's going on. He's not like Kim Jong-un, who has just no rationality whatsoever. Putin, I think, realizes, okay, guys, look, I can't just pop off. I can't go in there and kill everybody. I can't knock down an American satellite, guys.
And you know why? I initially had suspicion going, he's not crazy. What's going on? Something's going on. Because Vladimir Putin really enjoyed his position on the world stage.
Mm-hmm.
He enjoyed being at the Olympics. He enjoyed being received.
Yeah.
Some better than other countries. He enjoyed that. He was like the, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. We want to be alone. No, you want other cameras on you all the time. I don't care about Western press. I couldn't get enough of the Western press. Now they hate him. I mean,
This is true. That's a good point.
It didn't make sense to a guy who, bareback horse riding, he didn't want to be the object of memes where he's on a horse with horns up there and here's the, huh?
I can't believe that was planned. Hey, take a picture of me. Look at my shirt off.
Yes,
Look, I'm on a horse.
Well, of course
I'm on a horse. I'm tough.
Well, sure. Just like Reagan chopping wood. Here's a 76-year-old man. And what's he do? He gets out, make sure they get to him riding the horse chopping wood. But, I mean, it made no sense unless he had gone bona fide. He was absolutely 100% crazy, lost his mind.
Agreed.
Like, Friedrich Nietzsche, the big philosopher, all of a sudden goes catatonic. That could happen. But they said, like the speech he gave yesterday when he went after the West, he said, this is a war about basically the soul of the world. You've brought your gender issues to other countries. You're shipping out gay marriage to the rest of the world. And there's a part of the world that does not want that. And you think you control the world. You think you can control everybody. And there's a coalition that is coming together that's going to push back on you and not accept those things ever. Now, I'm not saying he's right on those things, but I'm saying, don't you think you need to be at the table?
Absolutely.
You got to find some common ground. You are so far away. And people say, just for example, to bring it down to microcosm, Brittany Griner, my heart hurts for her. Yeah, she knew better. She shouldn't have done that. She knew what she was risking. But the reason you can't get her out of there because the relationship between Putin and Biden has been poisoned so much. He's never going to give her back unless he gets 5 top-tier spies. He's going to just keep her. He could care less what names they're calling. Whereas if they had just talked, and who's going to be the first one to say, let's get to the table? It's time. It needs to be the United States of America.
It's not going to be anybody in charge right now on our side. I'll tell you that.
Well, I tell you,
don't believe it's going to happen.
I think you're hitting. It's going to be a long, cold winter. The Russians just bombed a Ukrainian infrastructure site, which knocked out 30% of electricity for their largest city, Kiev, and that's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. I told you this was going to happen. We in this soundbite world, Guillermo, where we want it and we want it now, we're going to click in the channel. If that preview doesn't get me within 3 seconds, I'm on to the next one. And the Russians still sit back and go, I'm going to watch the play. It's a 3-hour play.
Mm-hmm. It
might open up a little slowly, but I'm going to settle in. I'm going to give this play a chance. I mean, I just use that as some hackneyed example. I mean, they're in for the long haul.
They're like the Chinese.
And Iran.
Yeah.
That's the new world order. Now, you better learn how, and good military minds know, you got to know the enemy as much, if not more, than your own self.
And
you got to know the nature, and you can't. Go ahead.
And that's our problem as Americans.
I'm dominating. Take it to the table.
No,
go ahead.
You're right.
I watch the show every now and then. I talk too dang much.
It's the Alan Autry show. You got to talk.
But I shouldn't talk so much.
You hit it on the money again. They play the long game. Our republic doesn't allow anymore for the long game.
You're right. That gave me that. Honest to goodness, that gave me a goosebump. That gave me goosebumps. You're absolutely right. And it's affected politicians. They won't say, hey, hold on, stay with me here. Because this issue is going to take a little while to explain.
Yeah.
The system, as you said, that is really an astute, very depressing, but accurate analysis of where we are.
Some people can handle the truth.
I can handle it. I just don't like handling it.
But
I handle it. I mean, it just saying the truth will set you free, but first it'll make you miserable. We got a lot of miserable truths we got to face up to in this country.
It does. And it goes back to your mid-show comment of Reagan was working together with the left. This goes back because there was some kind of continuity. All right. We were able to talk and get to something. Yeah, Russia's bad, China's bad. Now we can't do that. China and Putin right now are grinning ear to ear that Joe Biden is in charge.
We took the bait.
Oh yeah, we did, and they're enjoying it.
Well,
Xi Jinping is looking at us being like, they're fine.
We are so, as a country, at our leadership right now and have been for about 10, 15 years, so freaking predictable. That's why Trump shook him up.
Oh, yeah.
He was not predictable.
Yep.
He says, you're not dealing with a politician. You're dealing with a true patriot. And those things about a country of life, liberties, pursuit of happiness, they're not just mindless words that I say at a speech on the State of the Union address. They're sacred principles that I and many other Americans are ready to die for. You got that, Xi? You got that, Vladimir? You got that over there in Iran? All the Ayatollahs?
Yep.
And that was effective.
It was.
We went back to the predictable, gutless Americans who sell out their allies and their comrades right through Afghanistan. Right there was that's the American way. They're telling every country, when America comes calling saying, we're here for the long haul, you got to understand their long haul means about 20 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
And you better have something that we need.
Yep.
Can you make solar panels? You can't? Good luck with those howitzers.
That's true. Amen. Hit it out of the ballpark.
Oh, man, Guillermo, thank you. I talk too dang much. I'm sorry. But I get worked up, and it's great to have a great friend here who lets the old man babble.
Hey.
Thank you so much, folks, for tuning in. God bless. Love you. And we get tomorrow, Guillermo, on Free For All Friday. Hope we'll get Bullet Bob. God bless you. Love you. Can't say that enough. And just remember, do your best. Let God do the rest, and it'll turn out the way it's supposed to turn out. I promise you. Bye-bye now.